Hi.
How are you folks tonight? Enjoying the stroll, I hope?
We are. It's a nice night out tonight. If you want
Yes,
to sit, you're welcome to sit.
Please excuse my dress. This summer of 1909 is wearing on. So, yeah, I was at the granary over there, and I was asked to write a few notes down about my father for posterity, I suppose. I apologize. I'm John McDonald. My father was Morris. Yes, we, as I said, that thing over there is it just got started this year, really strong. It's taken a lot of my time. In case you haven't been there, it's right behind the New Albany Glassworks, and right in front of that is the Culbertson Mansion. I purchased that in 1899 for a rightly sum of $7,100. Someone asked me, what do you think your father would say about you buying a house? I said, well, obviously you have forgotten. Father built a fine home, one of the finest around, he said, up on the knobs there. It's 200 feet above the city. He built a 12-room home, 75 feet tall. It's called the Tower. So I think you'd be okay with me purchasing that home. I tell you, my father wasn't born here. He was actually born in Montgomery County, Ohio, in a small town called Centerville, November 10th, 1836. Well, Grandpa John Sawyer and Grandma Nancy, they decided to move to New Albany here, and they started a business, pork packing business. It was rather successful. In fact, so successful that Father followed right along with it. Then about 1856, he met a young lady, Sarah Singer. In 1857, they were married, and they had 3 children. I was one of them. My first sister, Annie only lived to be 9 days old. She's here now. My second sister, Nanny. If I get a chance, I'll tell you about Nanny. Nanny is my older sister, and then my younger brother was Morris Jr. Well, Father was elected mayor in 1890, and again in 1892. The 1890 was an interesting one. In 1891, the paper said, the Great Gas Light Knockout. The Great Gas Light Knockout. It so happened that Father, one night, decided that all the gas light posts were to be taken down in the business district. And a rival company was put in new electric arc lights. Citizens were delighted. They were happy. It was a safer light. It was a brighter light. The New Albany Gas Light and Coke Company, however, felt differently. So they sued the city for damages and breach of contract. Now, it just so happens that just before Father took office, someone or some committee signed another contract with the New Albany Gas Light and Coke Company for another 23 years. The first contract wasn't over. They had another 2 years to go. They just said that, I think the paper read something like, the citizens wanted change in the New Albany elected officials. It said, and he took it by storm. Over 500 majority was his vote. 500 majority. And the headlines in the evening news read, "Now let good government reign supreme." I think they probably like Father there. But when the second time election came around, the second term, the city debt was reduced. City expenditures and interest reduced. The taxes had been reduced, and they said the city streets were in good repair, and that no laboring man who ever worked for the city of New Albany missed a day's pay, and there was more money in the treasury when he left than ever before. So I guess you might say that he was rather successful mayor. There was other things he was involved in. I had written some notes here that he had worked with the city on. If I can find that here, yeah. He also served 2 terms in the city council, 2 terms as trustee of the public schools, stockholder and director of the First National Bank, promoted the building, and was director of the Louisville, Evansville, St. Louis Railroad. He was secretary of the school board, where there was 2 notable teachers. You may know them, Cora Martin and Sarah Ella Jones. Or she refers as Ellen Jones. But, he also put in the first water-powered elevator in his flour mill right here on Pearl Street. Some of the other businessmen looked at it, and Mr. Bart, the tannery, he had one in at the tannery. He said it worked well for him also. He also served as president of the New Albany Waterworks. He had other interests. I mean, besides being a good mayor, he went for a short term for a while at Asbury College, but he's really had a heart for the pork, flour, and grain business. He also had a big interest in the New Albany Glass Works. He did some land dealings. He purchased 68 acres just east of town here. Had a survey and laid out in sections, and had 240 different lots set up. Had a large lake. It later became known as the city of Silver Grove. Yeah. So he had lots of interest here in the city, and he really appreciated it. I guess my fondest memory would have been in 1893. Father, mother. Oh, I was going to tell you about Nanny. You know, I told you that there was an incident with the New Albany Gas Light Coke Company. Father held no ill feelings against him. He allowed Nanny to marry the superintendent of the Gas Light and Coke Company. I say he threw her in his boot. But he always just wanted to do what was right for the citizens of New Orleans. Yeah. So as I was saying, my fondest memory probably was in '93. Father, mother, James, Nanny, Mamie, my wife, and myself, we all went to Chicago, the World's Fair. If you ever been to one? It's wonderful. You need to see those. They've got things you would not believe. I personally was glad when we got back. A couple of days later, they assassinated the mayor up there in Chicago. So not everybody likes the politicians, apparently. They're politicians. Well, November 1st, 1893, father passed away. Say he was well liked. Samuel Culbertson was one of his pallbearers. Jesse Brown, he was one of the pallbearers, and Mr. Alexander Jolly, the attorney, was also there. Yeah, we all love Father, and he did a lot for the city, and did a lot for him. One of the interesting points that I told you he died on November 1st, 93. He actually wasn't interred here until April 28th, 1894. I always kidded that he's such a good mayor that they didn't want to see him leave. However, we had a lot of inclement weather at the time. I do miss Father, but there's something that I don't know if y'all noticed this year. I left a penny here for him. This year, the penny has now got an engraving of Abraham Lincoln on it. Things are always changing. Well, I best get back to the elevator. It's taking a lot of my time, and that mansion is taking a lot of Mamie's time also. So you'll enjoy your visits.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Good luck with your grain business.
Thank you.